A former Boeing building in Renton has been overrun by squatters and vandals with windows smashed out. The dilapidated building is located at 500 Park Avenue. As we first told you on Fox 13 News last week, neighbors and local businesses are fed up.
I see a giant eyesore. Some of the police officers I've talked to said that there's smell of like methamphetamines inside.
What I call the theme song for Renton, and that is the fire engines and that is the police sirens constantly in this area.
They want the city to step in and force the company that bought it to clean it up and secure it. Demolish. Hey, thanks for being here to talk to us about this.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So where is it in the process, and what are the biggest challenges you're facing when trying to do something with this property that everybody agrees looks terrible?
Yeah. Well, first, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come and have this conversation with you about it. It is a problem for our city. You know, all cities deal with code infraction issues and properties that are underutilized. Oftentimes, when they're in between development, can be problems. This one has been a problem for quite a while, and we do a lot of work with developers to make sure that that they can stay in compliance. We're one of those cities that businesses really like to come to. We've got a lot of the business community moving to Renton, but this particular property has become a problem over the year, and I fully understand the residents and the businesses around there and their frustrations with the city, frustrations with the property owner, and we are just as frustrated. That being said, there is a legal pathway that we have to go through. There are steps that you go through to get to the point where you can actually do something, and first and foremost, for the city to take control of that property and secure it ourselves or demolish it ourselves, that's a financial impact on the residents of Renton. So I take that responsibility seriously. Where we're at right currently is for the last 6-8 months, they were accruing penalties, and they owe the city at this point over $3.5 million. It got their attention. We got into negotiations. They signed basically an agreement to not only secure the property but start the demolition, and they were off to a good start. We really thought that we were in the process of getting it cleaned up, but over the last couple weeks, they have not secured the property. So I believe yesterday or the day before, we sent them a 48-hour notice to basically remedy it. The next steps would be going through the court systems, giving them an opportunity to remedy it, and then the city actually to secure it. At the end of the day, the most important part of this is the safety of the community. It's making sure that it's not a building that people can go in and get hurt or throw things off and fall in. We need the building secured. Secondary, of course, is the way it looks and the broken windows and the graffiti and those kind of things. So that's where we're at right now. The next step would be very hands-on, where the city, you know, the other part of looking at this is once we get involved, it's not like we can decide we're not going to get involved. We will take the responsibility for securing that site until who knows when, until it's developed, until it's sold.
You would have to pay the money to fix it up and then put a lien on the company you're mentioning, Renton, which is out of California, to get them to make it right.
That is correct.
Which is a long process.
That is correct,
okay.
Yes.
Are they in communication with you? Because they did not respond to our requests for information.
Yes and no. They were in communication with us. I don't know as of today. I didn't hear. But they weren't responding to the most recent notifications of securing. We've got, it's called a voluntary correction notice, I believe, that they signed, and part of that is securing the property with an unscalable fence or 24/7 security, and that's the part that they're really falling down on.
Yeah, and neighbors and business owners, that's what they want. They told us that they're spending thousands of dollars on their own security, and they just want the property to be either boarded up or protected or fenced off to keep the vagrants out of there and to keep those people out of the neighborhood. They would like the city to make them whole. Would you support some kind of a grant program for the people in that immediate area to help them with these expenses?
Yeah, that's really difficult. That's a public gift of funds. So actually spending city resources directly like that is not something we can do. I would certainly support any way that we can find to help support those businesses down there. there, but the city funds can't be used for that.
So ultimately, because the EPA has determined there's arsenic on the property, I don't even think they were ever supposed to build on it in the first place, but they did. What can be done with that piece of property?
So yeah, there was an EPA finding before the building was built, and they built on top of it. So the EPA has a lot of different levels of issues when it comes to cleaning up soils that have pollutions on there and different things that you can and can't do. We don't have all that information. I know that you can't, even with the demo permit, they weren't allowed to go below the soil. I don't think there's any imminent public issues with that pollution unless you're to disturb the soil and dig it up.
Yeah. So ultimately, what's your message about what's next for this property? What do residents need to know and the taxpayers in Renton?
Well, ultimately, we would love for the property owner to take a very aggressive approach to cleaning this up, but more importantly, securing it. And it's down to the very last little bit of time before we will have to take legal action and take that pathway where the city takes it over and actually takes that step and securing it first and foremost.
Okay, keep us posted. I know that's a big step, but that's an important one.
Absolutely, we will.
All right.
Yep.
Mayor, thanks for coming in.
Yep,
Appreciate
thank you.
it. And Mayor Armando Pavone was also our guest this week on Seattle News Weekly. That's our brand new podcast. We went much more in depth. If you'd like to watch the full sit-down interview, just look for the Seattle News Weekly podcast on our Fox local app, fox13seattle.com, or the Fox 13 Seattle YouTube channel. You can also listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts.